Hi, I'm Almira. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are hosting our second series of community workshops at Beech Hall School Riyadh. And the topic that we're exploring today is how to support children during uncertain times. And today I have with me Mr. George Habib, a university lecturer, head of SEN unit at Beech Hall School Riyadh. You got masters in counseling. And yes, you were the first person that I had in my mind to invite and also, to talk about this kind of like situation that the entire world is currently in. So my first question would be, how do uncertain times look for children today from your perspective? So you said, that children pick up on tone, on facial expressions, but also about the feelings. It's something that sometimes what parents do not say, or adults in general, that children can also feel. And I presume that it doesn't really matter if they're with their parents or let's say with teachers, right? If something going on externally, they can still feel that. Is that correct?
Exactly, definitely. They can feel any specific emotions that the adults that is taking care of them is mainly feeling. So yes, definitely they might be feeling if a person is not okay, and uh, definitely this will make them feel uncomfortable.
Do you think there is a specific age group where children feel the most vulnerable to, to the changes, or when something externally happens, or even let's say internally, in the family? Do you think that there are, I don't know, maybe teenagers are more prone to feeling worse, or maybe it's actually children who are younger?
Yeah. I would say both, like uh, children who are young and adolescents. The children who are younger, they don't know how to express what they are feeling. So here comes the role of the parents or any adults who are around them to support them and to um, make them put the words on their feelings. Also, the adolescents now, they are more exposed, let's say, to social media. They have their own phones. So they can see news who are, I would say, who are not like age appropriate for them. So definitely, this will make them feel more not understanding what's going around them, and seeing things that are not age appropriate would affect them more than you can imagine. So yes, I would say that both age groups would be affected. However, each one in their own way.
Yeah, so they would just respond in their way that they can.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Absolutely. And some children, they might act out, some children, they kind of become withdrawn. So but what are the early signs, when you kind of like you see a child and you understand, okay, maybe he's struggling emotionally, maybe he needs support?
That's something very important you're mentioning now. We hear it a lot from many parents. Like they would come to us and they would tell us, George, I could not, like my child did not tell me this. They did not tell me that. They did not tell me that they are sad or scared. Yes, definitely. They will not tell you anything. You might be seeing some behaviors. So, as you mentioned, they might be like withdrawn. They might. You can see a change in their behavior. Sometimes you will be called by the school teachers, and they might be telling you that your child is not listening to us. They can't concentrate for a long period of time. They can do this, they can do that. Yes, definitely. If they are feeling that their parents are not okay now, they are feeling that there is something that they cannot control, and they don't know how to react or what to do about it, then definitely they will lose their concentration. They won't be able to focus in class. They might be showing behaviors. Sometimes it's related to eating. They might be eating more or less. So also these are signs that we can like see.
So basically, the things that that changes in their behavior. Yeah,
Definitely.
when they start acting differently, not
Def-
necessarily for better or for worse, but it's just a different from what they used to
Exactly.
do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, great. And with the with the anxiety and the lack of control, and let's say you met parents, and you explain, how they can support them. But how, because sometimes parents feel quite overprotective of their children. They might maybe become I don't know, maybe kind of like how our parents. So how to ensure that they are supporting their children but without increasing their anxiety, so it doesn't ricochet basically.
Exactly. As I started with this, that the children will understand what's going on. So there is a bigger responsibility in the situation on the parents. Like they have to control themselves more when they have children. For example, if you don't have a child now and you're on your own, you have your own coping mechanism, you will deal with things on your own. But when you have this responsibility and the kids, you have to be a little bit more cautious when you're showing your emotions. And definitely, you need to do your best with your kids, because also when it comes to you, you can't control the world. So you need to understand this as well. And whenever you feel like, let's say that something big is happening in the country where these people live, and you feel like today it's better if I keep my children at home, so I lower my anxiety and I lower them being exposed to other things, then yeah, it's better that you do this step. But always remind yourself of the, and I always tell parents this, always remind yourself of the logical things, and we need to go back to the real things and not to be to let our ideas. So here we're talking more about the parents, and definitely the parents, they need to work more on their own feelings and how they react to such situations, so they can help their children accordingly.
Absolutely. So when they say, on the planes, like if the masks are falling down, put it on yourself first and then on a child, because the parent needs to stay regulated. I hope that I'm not mispronouncing, or I'm using the right title, but there is a French film called It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if you saw it. So basically it's about the French family. They are in a concentration camp. And there's a mom, dad, and a child. And the way that they coped is that they were still smiling and actually explaining to their son that actually it's like some sort of a game, or like they're in a play. And the movie is quite, nice, but considering everything, and they were just saying like, oh, I'm just going somewhere like on a walk, or like, this is like a special uniform that we are wearing with the stripes. And, and we're talking about the World War II and, people being held in the concentration camps. But it's, even the title, It's a Wonderful Life. And then I think this is the perfect example of how parents need to stay regulated, supporting each other, children, and being, understanding that responsibility and being accountable. And it's just, I think for me, I remember watching this when I was actually quite young, which was also surprising. But the way that they kind of like played the situation, I think was incredible. And I think it got Oscar later.
I think you're giving a very good example, because knowing how to deal with the situation in a smart way, yet dealing with your feelings before, and understanding your feelings and so on before dealing with your children is really important and is really crucial.
Yeah, agreed. So when do you think about adults, like both parents and schools? Of course, no one is ideal, but sometimes schools and parents can get it wrong in supporting children. So of course, me as being kind of like head of marketing admissions, when I talk to parents, I always say that it's actually a partnership. It's like it's actually a triangle. So there is a student, there are parents, and there is a school.
Definitely.
But if something happens, how to form this partnership and ensure that it doesn't harm the child and we don't get it wrong. Of course we do, but how to ensure that we're kind of like on the same team and that we have the same goal.
All the stakeholders here, they have a role. Like parents, they have their own role, as you mentioned. The child, they have their role at some point, and the school. So I'm gonna start with the school since we all work in schools. The school support is the professional, like backup to the parents. So all the stakeholders, they have a very important role. So in the school has to be like the professional backup for the parents. The parents, they need to go back to the school whenever they need this type of support, because when you're talking about the school, their role is not only academics. Their role is beyond. They have to help also the children well-being, and now it's all the schools, they are developing this type of systems and so on. So for me, the school has to take into consideration the well-being while putting the emotions a little bit aside. So how can we do so? We start with the parents, we start with the children at the same time. We help the parents to I'm not gonna say teach their children, but at least to be aware of how to deal with and what's next. So all the parents, they come back to us. What's next? What can we do next? Also, at the same time, they need to do some maybe counseling sessions, activities for the children to understand their feelings and to understand where the children are at this stage so they can help them accordingly. But yes, there's a very big role for the school as well as the parents.
Yeah, agreed. And talking about specifics, how exactly does support look like in a school environment? So what first comes to mind is, of course, the counseling sessions, as you said, well-being committee,
Definitely.
for what else? I don't know,
I would say here the support of the parents. So maybe calling all the parents for meetings and calling them for maybe community meetings, so they would share their experiences. And believe me, you can't imagine how important it is for the parents to feel like, okay, we're not on like we're not alone in this. Other parents and other people our age are feeling the same things with their, and they are facing the same things with their children. So it's very important for the school to arrange such meetings and to connect the parents with each other. But definitely here the school needs to be attentive and redirecting everything. And that's the role of the counselor mainly in the school, or the person who's responsible for everything that is related to social emotional learning and the well-being of the children.
Sure. So basically engage in the community.
Yes.
So yeah, it's interesting how it comes back, to the basics.
Definitely.
Just because of, some parents are more involved than the others. There are always, there is a group that always comes to all the, I don't know, sessions, like coffee mornings and everything. And those who kind of like stay a little bit behind. So I think it's, I think it's important for like schools, especially the leaderships, to think about how to engage the entire community.
Definitely. And there is no, especially in such situations when there's natural disasters, when any like big uncontrollable or any situation that is not predictable. So there is a very big role for the school, and they need to know something that they do not have to find something that is very big and new. Sometimes the very simple things can really help everyone around them, and just showing up and being there for them is would be really helpful.
I really like that you said that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The schools just need to engage people,
Yes,
which is very important. So I think that's actually how a strong, healthy partnership between the school and parents looks like.
definitely.
Being just in conversation.
Definitely. And the school has to be supportive for the parents and understand the culture, understand where they are coming from, understand the whole situation, also, again, in a very logical way, because the school is a professional setting where emotions and maybe the personal opinion is not there because it's a professional setting. So being neutral in the situation is very good at the school.
And where do you see where these partnerships actually break down? I mean, with your extensive experience in counseling, when something goes wrong and actually, there is a maybe that the parties do not understand each other.
It starts with the trust that they both from like the two sides they build it. So they have the parents, they have to trust this setting, the school, this community where their children are spending most of their time. And also the school has to offer this support and make the parents feel the trust. So whenever you don't have trust, I always tell parents back home. I used to work in a different clinical settings. So whenever they are asking for support, I used to tell them, whenever you don't trust this school and you could not build this, I don't know, maybe we can say that this trust between you and this communication between you and the school, change the school and change the whole community for your child. Don't go to a place where you don't feel like you trust the people, you trust the culture, you trust everything that is the whole process.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Because if there is no trust, then what's the point? You can't build anything on, I don't know, on no ground, basically. And also from your experience, children with special needs, are they more vulnerable during these uncertain times?
Most of the time, yes, because I'm gonna give an example. Children who are on the autism spectrum, they are used to a very structured routine, and they feel more comfortable, and they give you more when you're working with them. When you just give them the structure and the routine. So during such times when you don't have anything that is predictable, these children won't understand maybe what's going on around them. But for them, you changed and you broke their routine. Same goes for the children who have sensory issues. So if you changed your house, so in some countries, people are displaced. So when they are changing their place, when they are moving to a new house, and the child is facing uh, some sensory challenges, so you're changing the whole routine setting for them, then definitely maybe they won't understand what's going around them, but they will understand that something big changed in my life.
Yeah, definitely. And we keep circling around this like at certain times.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say that, it could be something that when parents, let's say, divorcing or having a fight to the external factors, like, as you said, natural disasters, or of, when people don't feel safe,
Yes.
where definitely we cannot predict. So what would be kind of maybe, is there an exercise, for instance, for maybe that parents can do for their children, or maybe even schools can, implement, the child is feeling too much, when they're getting too overwhelmed, to kind of like come back, and just feel grounded. Is there any way to kind of like, get back? And maybe it's not even for children, but for adults as well.
There are many grounding techniques that we usually give to adults mainly, and also for adolescents, where they, for example, they can look around and name things that they can see, that they can hear, that they can smell. So it's one of the grounding techniques. But I need to go like one step to the prerequisites to this. And I would say for parents, for them to be, so there's one thing that I would go back to, which is before giving our children or before practicing ourselves the grounding techniques, we need to make sure that we're not very frustrated and we're not very anxious and we're not like um, giving this feeling to our children. So this is something that we need to take into consideration before moving to more deep techniques, if we can say.
Yeah, I agree. And what would you say are the like 2, 3 simple things parent can start doing immediately to support, child's well-being?
To support their children, they need first to make sure that there is a predictable routine. So, if things around us are not predictable, let's try in our small house to have this routine. The second thing is we need to help them express their feelings and put words uh, to label these feelings. So whenever we feel like they are frustrated because they are stressed, because they have this or that, so let's use the right words, the right feelings, because many times and sometimes you ask adults, how are you feeling? And they cannot express this. So let's help our children to express themselves and their feelings in a proper way.
Yeah, because fine is not a feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, if the situation allows it, children still go to bed at a certain time. They do their homework, they have dinner with the family. So creating this normal situation supports children.
Definitely. And making this routine more predictable, like tell them that now we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do that, then we're going to have dinner after this. So let's tell the children what we're expecting from them and what they need to expect from us.
Okay, that's great. And even let's say that like nothing bad is happening, but like something, the day has changed. The agenda has changed. So let's say instead of going to see, I don't know, to visit your friends, with the children, you have to stay. Do you still have to explain and kind of like,
Definitely, we need to tell them why we're not doing this. But again, let's use age appropriate vocab and let's use the right words to explain this to our children.
and how do you know that you're using like an age appropriate or children's vocabulary?
Okay, you know your kids, and maybe a child who's 8 or 7, but might understand more than another child who's 10. You're working in a school, and you know that each child has their own profile and the way they get things. So the best person who's going to understand the children is the parents. So they know that my child at this stage, they understand this. Or, for example, when it comes to death. So if they still don't get the concept like completely, then definitely I'm not going to tell them the whole, let's say, process.
Yeah.
And definitely I'm not going to use a very complicated vocab. So it's better if I do use age-appropriate words based on their level.
Yeah, yeah. It's even like with my niece, you know, when something is not working, is something is not going in her way, she starts to kind of like get not maybe a little bit offended, you know, maybe she just like not very happy. But once I start explaining to her what we're getting instead of the thing that maybe she wanted, or where we're going instead of the place that she wanted initially, she feels better because you have a dialogue and you respect child, and you respect their feelings. You take it into account, and you're just saying, well, okay, this didn't work out, but then, you know, we can do A, B, C, or D, for instance.
You just mentioned something that is very important. We cannot just tell them that we cannot tell you why, because definitely they will have more and more questions. No, you have to explain. However, find the right and transparent way to tell them, and an age appropriate again way.
Sure. So the phrase "because I said so" should be banned everywhere.
Which one?
The phrase "because I said so."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
And on the other hand, other things the parents should try to avoid, like this phrase, for instance.
They need to avoid being stressed themselves. So this is the first thing that they need to avoid. Putting their children in a place where there are many adults using their age appropriate words or their conversations simply. So if I'm sitting with you, no need for a child who's 8 to join us now and listen to what we're discussing, because it's like when I mentioned at the beginning that an adolescent will be will be checking the news on social media, and they will read things that are not age appropriate and they cannot understand. So they will hear the same thing when we're discussing any topic together, but they cannot sit with us and listen to what we're saying. And vice versa, whenever there are children around us, we need to make sure that we're not saying everything that we know about maybe natural disasters or any problem that we're facing.
This is such a great point, which I've never thought about. So let's say we're not talking about anything drastic, but it's still like a conversation between adults. So a child still should not be present there, or they should be like playing elsewhere a little bit further.
They can be present, but let's say we're discussing death, or we're discussing a specific situation that happened in a specific country, and many people like passed away. So for the children, when they hear this about this disaster, they might not understand. They might have a lot of questions, and you might not have directly the right answers to just give them the full and the honest and transparent thing.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And the last question, if there is one thing you wish every parent understood about children's well-being, what would that be?
Again, I'm gonna go back to a very simple rule. Be transparent. Don't lie to your kids, because believe me, they will know that there is something fishy.
They always do.
Yeah. The second thing is find age appropriate. Maybe I said it more than 100 times today. Find age appropriate words when you're talking to them. And the last thing, control yourself, because they will be mirroring everything that you're feeling and that you're anxious about without even using any word. And believe me, controlling yourself and controlling the way you're reacting to things is better than finding or than finding the right words. Because once you're calm, you will lower lower the questions, and you will lower the possibility for
Yeah.
them to feel like they need to ask about things and they need you to answer their questions.
This is so important, and I think we need another podcast session for about how to,
Let's do this.
yes, how to feel less stressful and how to control yourself. Yeah, I mean, George, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. I think
Thank you for highlighting this, because it's something very important for kids and parents. And believe me that we're in a world where we have many like unpredictable situations. For example, back home recently, we faced economic crisis, so it will also change the routine and the schedule of our children. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yes, subscribe to Brook House College Riyadh channel. If you have any ideas or suggestions for the next topic, just let us know in the comments. Thank you and bye.